Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaur Pramanande. Now is the time for the Bhagavad Gita class. Everybody please face over there where the speaker is. In front of him, please. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sorry about that. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We're going to start the Bhagavad Gita class, which is verse 47 from chapter 2. Kunja Bihari Jaya Ram. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Sri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Gauranitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you, Kirtanis. That's very nice. Beautiful. So today we'll be discussing a lovely verse from the Bhagavad Gita today. It's the chapter 2, verse 47. So if you haven't followed so far, I'll do a quick summary as to where we are in chapter 2. This gives you a bit of a flavor as to what the where we are. So there's a war going on, right? There's the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Arjuna is with Krishna, and Krishna is his charioteer. And Arjuna is feeling distressed. And why is he feeling distressed? Because he's in the middle of the battlefield, and he is facing, you could say, the opponents in the war. And who are his opponents in the war? It's his uncles and grandfathers and his gurus. Can you imagine what that feels like? I mean, to even come across one of your family members will be so challenging. But to have that in front of him was quite distressing. So this is how he's feeling now. Then Krishna says to him, for you to feel this way, you have impurities. And that's the only reason you're feeling this way. Because if you actually knew what your prescribed duty was, you would not feel this way. So what are these impurities? And then Arjuna says, how can I battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? And then Arjuna feared the result of the war. Both circumstances. If he won, it's not a good result. And if he lost the war, that's also not a good result. So he was very attached to the result of the war. And then he says in 2.9, I shall not fight, which is not like his character, because his character is a Kshatriya, and he decides not to fight. So Krishna says, the wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. And then Krishna explains to Arjuna for the first time that his identity is actually the spirit soul, not this body. And these attachments are really on the bodily platform rather than the spiritual platform. The soul is indestructible, Krishna says, and the material body will come to an end. Therefore, fight. And the soul is unborn, it's eternal, and it's ever existing. And the soul accepts new material bodies compared to new garments, Krishna says. So Krishna explains to Arjuna that he's a Kshatriya, which means fighting on religious principles is okay. Many people think Bhagavad Gita is all about peace and actually not fighting, not engaging in battle. And most of Sanatana Dharma actually is about understanding your mind and having peace with your mind. But if your prescribed duty is to fight, and if you're a Kshatriya, and it's on religious, religious grounds, Krishna sanctions this. And death in battle means achieving the heavenly planets. This is why Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to fight. And neglecting your duties means incurring sin and also losing reputation as a fighter. So if you are a Kshatriya and that is your nature, dishonor is worse than death. So you must do it. You must fulfill your duties. But with all of this being said, this is not just about Arjuna, this is about us. So the fact that we're actually all around the temple room here today, it's beautiful, it's very cold and very windy and it's very wet outside. You could have been anywhere doing anything, but you've decided to come here. So that's very nice. And we also have our own prescribed duties, just as Arjuna had. So what are they? We'll go through them. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the verse is 247. And that's Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbur ma te sangostva karmani. Would anyone like to repeat? And it's up on the screen, so anyone is welcome. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Please, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Maybe one more? You can try, even if you've never tried before. These are transcendental words spoken by Krishna, so very auspicious. That's okay. That's okay. So maybe you can read it in your own time, 247. So the synonyms for this verse, karmani, in prescribed duties, eva, certainly, adhikara, right, there, of, you, ma, never, phaleshu, in the fruits, kadachana, at any time, ma, never, karma phala, in the result of the work, hetu, cause, bu, become, ma, never, there, of you, sangaha, attachment, astu, there should be, arkarmani, in not doing prescribed duties. So the verse, the translation is, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Who's heard of this verse before? Yes, I know you do, because you read it, you said it without reading. The Mahabharat serial, that's how it started. Hare Krishna. So, Haribol to the Mahabharat series. And the purport, I'll read to you now, and the purport is by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are three considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means actions without the sanction of authority. And inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scriptural injunctions without desire for results is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results become the cause of bondage, therefore such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested, obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non-participation in the battle is another side of his attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation, and any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful, therefore fight as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. A quick prayer. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So there's 4 parts to this verse. The first one is you have the right to perform your prescribed duties. The second part is you are not entitled to the fruits of action or your work. Number 3 is never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities. And 4 is never be attached to not doing your duty. So in terms of this verse, Krishna is telling us the art of work. So whilst you're here, he's teaching us how to work in this world, okay? How to live in this life through our actions and our duties. With everything we do in life, there's generally instructions. You know, if you buy something from IKEA, you get your flat pack furniture out, there's some instructions of how to do it. Just like this life, Krishna is giving us in the Bhagavad Gita the instructions of how to work, because we have to work. No one can escape from working. Even if you wanted to eat and someone was making the food for you, you still have to chew it, still have to do something to eat. So there's 3 considerations, it says in the purport. Prescribed duties, which is sanctioned by the high authority. This is what Krishna is telling you to do. This is how to live your life properly whilst you're here. Then we have capricious work. Capricious work means it hasn't been sanctioned by the authority. You're doing your own thing. It's your own rules. And we all do that, right? You know, it's even with the IKEA, my wife tends to read it. I just want to build it. So sometimes we want to do our own thing as well. But that gets me into trouble because sometimes I have to dismantle it and do it all over again. So similarly in here, with Arjuna, he's been given the task to fight because he is a warrior. Kshatriya means warrior. But he wants to do a work of a Brahmana. He wants to walk away from the fight. Brahmanas in nature is non-violent, whereas Kshatriya in nature is to be violent, to protect. So he wants to be like a Brahmana. That is him doing his own thing. That's not his prescribed duty. And the last consideration is inaction. So it's not doing anything at all. So when Arjuna is talking about quitting the battlefield, that is called inaction. That also incurs sin. So I searched for the definition of prescribed, and it said to lay down in writing or otherwise as a rule or a course of action to be followed, appoint, ordain, or enjoin. And hey, look, we've all been given this body, we've all been given this material creation as per our 3 modes of material nature. So we know them as sattva, we know them as rajas and tamas, and a combination of 3 have created this material matter that your soul is within. And whilst you've been given this body, you have also been given prescribed duties, okay? Generally, people have propensity to be better at learning. Some are very, very strong. Some are very creative and musical. We've all been given these qualities. And those are your material duties, okay? That's called svadharma. And we have many roles in this life. Like I have, I'm a father, I'm a son. At work, I'm head of sales for the company I work for. So I have many roles and many titles. That's not who I actually am. That's just my material duties I have to perform whilst I'm here. But then we also have what we call a Sanatan Dharma. We all have that, okay, which is our true identity. And the only way to know your true Dharma and your true prescribed duties is to actually understand what is your identity. And Krishna says to Arjuna, you are spirit soul, not the material body. And that's something we need to understand. We have 2 duties, material and our spiritual duties. And Sanatan means eternal, okay? And as spirit soul, our eternal duty is servant of Krishna. So we're here to serve Krishna. And that's for everybody. Everyone's inclusive of that. So in terms of material duties, we've already gone through some of the roles that we have. But in terms of spiritual duties, this is where many people have read this verse before, get a little bit confused. Because if you are really intelligent and God's given you all of these gifts to be a doctor or to be, or to be a Brahmin, who can learn the scripture and who can teach the scripture. If he's given you that type of knowledge, then of course you'll be doing that. But that doesn't mean that's all you have to do. That is not your only dharma, not your only duty in this life. Yes, we all have to work. And many people, when we talk about come to Sanatana Dharma, fulfill your eternal duties, there's generally a few reasons as to why they cannot fulfill that. One of the reasons is time. And normally, and I know this because I used to say the same thing, I'll do it when I'm retired. I'm working, I'm doing 55-hour weeks, I've got 2 kids, I'm married, and I've got duties to my parents as well. Life is busy, So I'll do it when I'm retired, I'll have more time then. But the issue is when we get older, we get tired, it's very difficult. Then, hey, we may have grandchildren, so we're looking after them again. So we never have the time. So Krishna's saying you have to create the time. Because we have both duties. We cannot run away from either of them, material or spiritual. And it's amazing, I said to you before, it's cold outside, you're here. We've come here to take darshan of Radha Gokulananda. And they're so beautiful, and it's so nice, and it's so auspicious to get darshan. But we do this on a Sunday. And it's really nice that we do that. And we have prasadam, which is beautiful, which I'm looking forward to after this class. But there's more to it. What are we doing on the Saturday? What are we doing Monday to Friday? Spiritual life is not part-time. It's not something we do on a Sunday and we forget about until next Sunday. It's a tradition, isn't it? Even for church, people go to church on Sundays. But do not repress your nature. Krishna doesn't say, do not do your material duties. He says, do them, but do them in a Krishna conscious way. Do it under the banner of Krishna consciousness. And more you show interest in spiritual life, Krishna will help you. Because at the end of the day, this is going to come up again and again. We must have the endeavor, and then Krishna will give you the mercy. We need both for things to work in life. So, what does spiritual life actually enable us to do? It puts an end to this bondage in material bodies, right? And it returns us back to Godhead. Because that's where we originally came from. This material body is so temporary. This is not who we are. All these roles, like I've got this role at work, that's not who I am. It's just a role. That's not who I am. And more we realize that, and more we immerse ourselves into spiritual life, and we do both side by side, that's when we become everything, we spiritualize everything. So Krishna doesn't say, be a good doctor, or don't be a head of sales, or don't be a CEO. He doesn't say that. We have to do that. Arjuna has his duties. All he says is, do it spiritually. If you're a father, be a spiritual father. Yeah, if you're a son, do that spiritually. Serve with love, with devotion. Share Krishna consciousness. Because that's our main duty. In 335, Prabhupada says, a Brahmana is non-violent, as I said before, and the Kshatriya and the mode of passion is allowed to be violent. So, one cannot imitate the other. We must fulfill our duty. And whilst on the material platform, it's important to perform our prescribed duties. That's what prescribed duties is all about. It's like medicine. If you've been ill recently, you've been to the doctor, they'll diagnose you, right? How long has this been going on for? What's the temperature? Let's check your blood pressure. They want to get to know what's going on with your issue. Then once they find the issue, what do they give you? Medicine, absolutely. And it's prescribed medicine, isn't it? You go to the pharmacy, they say, have you got your prescription? Yes, here it is. And they go back and they get your box, and here we are. Prabhu, this is, they don't say Prabhu, but it's 3 times a day for a week. That's your course. So we have to take it. We may not like it. I give my son some Calpol and he hates it. He spits it out. We don't like it sometimes, but it's necessary. That's the only way we get better. It's the prescribed duty or the prescription here, given by a high authority. So in that case, it's a doctor, but in life, it's Krishna and spiritual life. This is our prescribed duty. And these duties ultimately lead us to liberation, because in this life, it's difficult. Happiness is temporary, isn't it? We get happy for a short while, but there's so much pain. There's so much pain. We don't belong here. We belong in the spiritual world. And when they say you can be whatever you want to be, have you heard this? You can be whatever you want to be. Yes? It's the biggest lie. It's the biggest lie. We can be everything you were meant to be. And that's what prescribed duties actually is. Materially, you have some skills. You've been given this by Krishna. What is that? Be that. Okay? Materially, but then spiritually, we know what to do. And there's many ways of switching it up because it's all a process. We can't jump from here to there. It takes time, right? Like, for example, many years ago, I used to eat meat, and this is where I was in life. I was eating meat. And then the first step was to become a vegetarian. So over 5 years ago, I turned vegetarian. And it's a very nice thing to do. And that's before I came to Krishna consciousness. And maybe some of that purification leads you to God, actually. But why stop there? That's a very nice thing to do, become vegetarian. But then why don't we offer our food to Krishna before we have it? That makes it prasadam. So we can spiritualize everything we do very easily. When you work, offer some of your results to Krishna. We can buy some Bhagavad Gitas, we can distribute them to our friends and family. We can buy things to serve him. And when you raise your children, raise them in a Krishna consciousness way. I see many kids here in the temple room today, it's beautiful. Because we're showing them who's God, who's your relationship with God. There's more to life than just playing and Nintendo Switch, I think, is a big thing, isn't it? My kids have that. Mario Kart. It's very important. That's fun. But there's more to life. There's more to life. So the fact that you're bringing your kids here is beautiful. And please continue to do that. So you're spiritualizing, even coming to the temple, even raising kids. When you look after your parents, speak some Krishna Katha with them. Everyone becomes blissful that way. It's the best service you can give them, especially if they're old age as well. Because time is ticking, time is running out. They need all the spiritual help they can get for their next life. And also give your association to those in need. We have friends who need some help, and they need real help. And this is where we can really help them as well. Everything you learn, we can share. Even if it's the smallest bit of knowledge, we can share with our friends. And Arjuna is fighting to protect the kingdom. He's there to restore righteousness and dharma. That's why he's been told to fight. And this then becomes a spiritual duty. Because he's doing it for a higher purpose. And it's beyond things like I want to fight because I want to inflict pain or death. It's way beyond that. Okay. The next part of it is not being entitled to the fruits of actions. So fruits is the results of something that you do. And never consider yourself as the cause of the results. We all do this. The slogan I like to use is, try your best and let Krishna do the rest. Can we repeat that? So, try your best, let Krishna do the rest. We'll do one more. Try your best and let Krishna do the rest. So Krishna explains that the fruits or the results are controlled by many other factors than just our own. What are some of those reasons? So what are our results controlled by? Can anyone maybe give some input? Karma. Who said karma? Hare Krishna. Yes, so karma, absolutely. So the good and bad deeds of all the reactions that you've done before, absolutely. Destiny. And what is it that you deserve? Only Krishna knows what you need and what you deserve. So your part of the equation is just to take part and do your best. And Krishna will look after the rest of it. And let's think about it. Everything around us came from Krishna. Even all these wooden frames, all these things that's carved, and all these frames and these speakers and this metal used for it. Everything actually comes from Krishna, in fact. So we may be the makers of our destiny, but we're not the masters of our destiny. And I think that's the real important part of this verse. You play a part, but it's not all you. Okay? Krishna does the rest. So really, how should success then be measured? Is it the result? No, Krishna says. Your success is the endeavor. It's your preparation. It's your attitude to the task. Make sure you're concentrating. Make sure you're committed to everything that you do. Do it well. But the results is not you. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah? Amazing. And sometimes we fail, but it's probably the best thing for us. Krishna knows. Apparently those who pass second time on the driving test are better drivers. So there's some good things that come from failing as well. So as I said to you before, I'm in sales. So we are in the results business. So this verse, when given to me, it's quite funny because I'm talking results all the time at work. How many have we sold? Where are we with it? What's the penetrations at? How much against budget? It's non-stop. We're talking results all the time. And it's the type of business that we want to take all the glory when it goes our way. So if we achieve the numbers for the month, oh, Sonny, well done. You did really, really well. All glories to you, right? But when it fails, what do? Oh, it was a bad month. The weather was bad. And, the market's a bit down. The interest rates are up. We don't take the responsibility then. We only take it when it's good. But that's not good. That's sinful. If you're going to take the whole responsibility for everything, Krishna says. But what we should really understand is it's not just us. Okay, but that's a good thing for us. And I'll explain to you in a minute. There's times where I've worked really, really hard. And I'm sure, think back at a time when you've worked really hard. You've gone all out. But it hasn't gone your way. Yeah? Sounds familiar. But there's times you've hardly turned up. You've done a little bit of work. And you've got the results. That's happened as well. I can think back of many times, mainly when I was doing my GCSEs, But Krishna says, plan for your results, but just don't get attached to them. Who's had exams recently? Anyone? Hands up? No? Exams? We've got a hand up. Okay, how old are you? 14. So was that your SATs? End of year exams, okay. How was it before you took your exams? Were you quite stressed? Wow. Why were you stressed? You wanted to get good results. You see what I mean? This is the verse. This is the verse, people. We have exam tension. Why? Because we're attached to the result. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. Because I've got expectations. I've been given my predicted grades. Predicted grades are A. Wow, I need to fulfill that. Can you imagine if I don't pass? What are people going to say to me, right? It's this fear. So we have fear before the exam, like you said. We have fear during the exam. Why? Because you open up your test paper and you go, wow, everything I've revised for is not in here. Yeah? It's not here. What shall I do? And then you stress so much, you forget to answer your test result, your test questions, right? But it's not finished there either, because you finish your exam, what happens? You're stressed now again. Why? 2 months until your exam results come out. So we're in anxiety there as well. What will I get for my results? So actually this is a real life situation whereby, we're getting stressed over the attachment to the result. So this Bhagavad Gita is not just about, it's a lovely book I listen to sometimes. This is telling you how to live your life. So in your situation, let's not get stressed over the result because you don't control them. All you control is turning up and doing your best, okay? So for your situation, revise. Make sure you go through past test papers. Make sure you dedicate a good hour a day for your work. Whatever you need to do it properly. But just understand, turn up at the exam, try your best, and leave the rest to Krishna. You don't control that. So you should be anxiety-free. Yeah? Good. So that's for your GCSEs. And I actually searched on Google, right? I searched how to cope with exam stress. And it came up with something quite nice. It said 7 ways to cope with exam stress. And it says, sit in nature, reduce your distractions, tidy your workstation, feed your body, use your senses, cheer yourself up. These are very nice. These are nice. It puts you on the mode of goodness, of course. But as soon as you're attached to those results, it doesn't matter where you're sitting. It doesn't matter about your senses and cheering yourself up, because the anxiety will always be there. Okay? And this is not just about exams. This could be about your promotion, your interview that's coming up. The moment you're attached to the result of, I need to get this job because of this pay rise, cost of living is high, I need to get this, you're setting yourself up for failure and distress. So don't do it. You're not in control of this. We have 3 impurities which I need to go through, which really relate to this. One is proprietorship. We want to own everything, isn't it? Yeah, we want to own everything. But we already know that Krishna has created everything. This is all Krishna's. So this beautiful house that we've just had built, my new house, look at this, 5-bedroom detached, I've made it. Where did you get the materials from? These are God-given materials to you. These are not yours. You're just the tenant in this house. And if you're fortunate enough to have this house, Hare Krishna, what will you use it for? For your own enjoyment or for Krishna's enjoyment? But this is not ours. And this proprietorship of wanting to own everything is what entangles us. And this is the reason we're still here. We want liberation, but there's no liberation because we're still attached. Like a carpenter. Any carpenters in it? No? Okay. Let's say if you're a carpenter, Prabhu, okay? And I gave you some wood, okay? Some loads of plywood, some hardwood. I gave it to you. And I gave you all the tools that you need because I want this table created for home. And I even give you all the skills. I teach you how to do it as well. And then once you finish this beautiful table, you say, oh, wow, this is so nice. I'm going to take it home. What do you think I'll say? I'm going to say it's not yours, isn't it? I gave you some money for it. I'll give you some money for your work and for your hours. How many hours did you do? 10? Okay, what's your hourly rate? I'll give you your rate, no problem. But this is not your table. I gave you the wood. I gave you the skills. I gave you everything. So who are you to enjoy it and take it and call it your own? This is the same with Krishna. This is all Krishna's, but we're taking it for our own enjoyment. This is mine, my house. Look at this, biggest house in the street. Come on. This is what's causing our entanglement, guys. And we also have entanglement and we have ownership over our family members. This is my son. He must be a doctor, isn't it? My son, but this is Krishna's son. Our duty is just to look after what is Krishna's. This is not our kids. My 2 kids are not my kids. I'm just looking after them, So just detach yourself from this. It really helps. And offer everything to Krishna because he deserves it, because he's created it. The next one, our impurity is controllership. We want to be the boss of everything. I've got a little picture here. One of those Mr. Men books? And it says Little Miss Bossy. Wish I could show you. But Little Miss Bossy wants to boss everyone around because they are the center of everything. It's all about me, isn't it? It should be done on my time, on my schedule. Why are you not doing it? I want to control you. But when we're in control, we have a sense of anxiety. So for example, success. When you're successful, when we believe we've done this and we're controlling it, we become proud, we become complacent. But when we know that Krishna is controlling everything, we become grateful, we become humble. Yes? I'll give you one more example. So for example, failure. Let's say if you fail your results, I hope you don't, by the way, but let's say if you fail your results. If you feel you're in control of this, you're going to feel depressed, you're going to feel frustrated, and it's very, very difficult. But if you really believe and give Krishna that ownership of, hey, you're the controller, you're the supreme controller, you'll become accepting, you become determined. Okay, I failed. Okay, I'll try it harder next time. Okay? The final one is enjoyership. The photo here was actually from Willy Wonka. The Charlie in the Chocolate Factory? Who's watched that? Anyone? Yeah? There's a boy called Augustus Gloop. He's the big boy who loves chocolate. And this is the picture I just thought of when I was thinking of enjoyership. We want to enjoy everything, right? But he gets swallowed up by the chocolate river, doesn't he? This is life. This is Maya, right? And this is the illusion. Wow, I'll get some happiness there. But then it chews you up. We want to enjoy food, we want to enjoy people, we want to enjoy things. And actually the hankering for enjoyment is endless. It's never ending, actually. In the Ramayana, Ravana tried to enjoy all the beautiful women in the world, isn't it? Yeah? He tried to enjoy Lord's property. And you know what happened to him? And Hanuman, what a beautiful devotee of the Lord. He takes Sita back to the Lord. And that's what good devotees do, right? They take the Lord's energies back to the Lord, who is the energetic. So demons want to separate the Lord's energies, and the devotees want to bring those energies back to the Lord, because that's where they came from. Very, very important. So let's take some of the learnings from these scriptures. And once we cleanse through these impurities, we then realize one thing. The biggest thing you'll ever realize is that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the controller. He is the owner. And he is the supreme enjoyer. It's not us. But we can't believe that if you're still impure. Because if you think you're the owner, if you think you're the enjoyer, and if you think you're the controller, where does Krishna sit in all of this? We almost become like godlike. So this is really, really important. So we need to surrender to God. So do your best and giving up the worry of, the result itself. Then we can fulfill our duties of becoming servant of the God. So Krishna sows, we sow the seed, and Krishna delivers the rain. So it's a two-way relationship, isn't it? Yeah? The rains will come, but if you haven't put the seeds down, no crops will come, isn't it? So we must do our bit, which is sowing the seed. The Krishna will come. He gives the rains. And there's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful verse in chapter 11, verse 33, whereby, you probably know this if you've watched the Mahabharata. Do you know the bit when Krishna shows Arjuna his universal form? Yeah? It's beautiful and bright, right? Like 1,000 suns. And Arjuna wanted to see that form. And Krishna kindly showed it to him. Nobody else has seen this. And then, do you remember what Arjuna sees in the mouth of Krishna? Yes, he sees everything. He sees all the forms, but he mainly sees the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, Bhishmadev, Drona Acharya, all of them dying in that big furnace, right? What is Krishna exhibiting there? He's showing you that I've already killed them already. You think you're killing them? I've already killed them. It's beautiful. It gives me goosebumps, because he controls, he knows your past, he knows your present, he knows your future. But we think we're taking control of this. Krishna is showing Arjuna, look, they're already dead. Then he says in 11:33, therefore get up. Get up. Prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement. My arrangement, not yours, my arrangement. And you, Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. That's beautiful, isn't it? They're already dead, so why don't you just be my instrument? Just take that bow and just give it. Just throw that arrow and see what happens. You'll kill them because you know the result. I've shown you they're already dead. So where's your anxiety? Why are you worrying about, the fight? What's going to happen if I win? If I lose? They're already dead. And he's shown that to Arjuna, who's a very special devotee. So is the question, do we not plan for success then? So if Krishna is controlling everything, do we not do anything? Do we just say, hey, Krishna, please just make this exam result for me? Where's the girl? She's gone. Yes, please make sure this exam result's an A. And then I don't turn up? No, you must revise. You must do your work. That's what this verse is all about. Arjuna would assemble his army every single day in that Mahabharata war, in the morning. And he'll get all his troops together, and today this is what we're going to do. Then once sunset comes and the fight stops, he'll get his troops again together and say, right, let's review what happened today. I do that at work as well. Before the day starts, right, today the focus is this. We must achieve this. We must do this. It's only an aspiration. But then the result is in Krishna's hands. On the 14th day of the Mahabharata war, Arjuna set a target. Do you remember what that target was? That by sunset, on that very day, he'll avenge the death of his dear son Abhimanyu. Yes, that was his goal. So Krishna's not saying don't have goals. Of course you need to have goals. And why do we have goals? It motivates us. It gives us purpose. It gives us direction, right? You need to plug that, postcode into your sat nav. You need to know where you're going. But if you get there on time, if you don't get there on time, that's not all down to you. So the focus on results takes our focus onto the uncontrollables. These are not in your control. And that's what the focus goes on to if you keep focusing on the results. Then you may not focus on the controllables, the things that are within your control. And that's what Krishna says. And if you do nothing, you've got no chance. If you do something, you've got every chance with Krishna's mercy. And finally, never be attached to not doing your duty. Arjuna wanted to leave the battlefield. This is not for me. I know I'm a warrior. I know I'm here to fight, but I want to leave it. That's not an option either. That's also sinful. So, Krishna not fighting is wrong. Us not doing anything, that's wrong. If Krishna is doing everything, let it be, that's wrong as well. We have to do our thing. So we need to endeavor, and we need Krishna's mercy. And finally, these actions, these duties that we do, just make them an offering to Krishna. Everything that we do, just make them an offering to Krishna. Because as I said before, he's the supreme enjoyer. Okay. So before you enjoy that piece of cake next time, just offer it to Krishna first. Thank him for giving this to you, because not everyone has cake, right? And once you've offered it, after a few minutes, you accept it. And that becomes prasad. Because eating without offering the food also is sinful. Because many people have died. Like even when you harvest crops, how many ants and insects have died in that process? And we're taking God's energy and we're giving it, or we're just enjoying that. We're part of that killing, isn't it? This karma created in that. So when we offer it to Krishna, it zeroes the karma for everything. So this is another reason we do it. Because detachment and devotion ensures that our heart grows and we get closer to Krishna. So try your best and let Krishna do the rest. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share something with you. This is my second class I've ever given. And I thank all my teachers and my mentors for giving me this opportunity. It's actually for my purification. Because actually before giving this class, I didn't know so much about this verse. So when someone says, you have to give a class, I need to learn it. Sometimes the best way to learn is to teach. So I'm very grateful to people like Mukunda Hari Prabhu and Nishkinchana Prabhu who've given me this opportunity. So if you're listening to this, thank you so much and Hare Krishna. We have about 6 or 7 minutes. And this is, I guess, an opportunity for your realizations, your reflections. Anything you'd like to share around this verse, let's keep it on this verse if you can. I'll be most grateful. Hare Krishna. Not all at once.
Will you have the same class next week as well? Like next chapter?
Yeah, so we go on to the next verse. So next week it will be at 1 o'clock. I believe it's 2:48. And then it will be 2:49 at 6 o'clock on Sunday. So you can follow this at home on the Sunday, or even every day. Every day there's a verse, 6 o'clock every single day. So if you're driving home like me on a 6 o'clock evening, on YouTube you can listen to it. It's better than listening to hip hop and rap and anything else that's coming on the radio, Yes, any other questions or?
You said don't worry about the result.
Sure.
Right. But I think so kind of a human tendency, like my tendency is worry about it, like, okay, what will happen? I've done my best. I've given my everything to a particular project or particular things.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
sometimes you just worry, I wanted that desperately. I should get it. I've done all my hard works and everything is there. But until your result comes, you're feeling worried, you're concerned about it. Okay,
Wow.
whether I will pass, whether what will happen,
Mm.
and it's hard to get away from it. It's not
It
an
is.
easy process. It's easily said rather than doing it.
It is, and I'm with you because I also have the same, right? It's all great me talking about it, but practicing it is very hard, of course. It's a purification process, Prabhu. So for those who may have not caught the question, Prabhu kindly said, and it's a really good point, it's a very popular point, is it's very difficult because we can say that Krishna's in control and, leave the results to him, but doing that in real life is very hard, and it is hard. Because we still worry about the results. And I guess the question I'm asking you, and I'm asking myself, by the way, this is a question at me, is how much do I trust Krishna? Isn't it? Do you trust him? Has he got your back?
That's the reason I'm here. The reason I'm here, or anyone who comes to the temple, because there is a belief.
Correct.
You believe in it.
Shraddha's there, right?
Yes, Shraddha is there. You're absolutely right, man. But apart from Shraddha as well, when you know you have to work around it, you need to maintain the standard of living and
Yes.
everything. So you wanted that to go through. So that desperateness is there. And then you don't know. Then you're not trusting as well and you're trusting as well. And then it's like a 50-50.
If you make Krishna consciousness full time,
Yeah.
you've got every chance to lose that anxiety. If it's an every Sunday thing, Sunday you'll feel, oh wow, less anxiety. This is Vaikuntha, right? But then Monday to Friday we have anxiety because we're not with devotees. We're not associating enough. And when you're with devotees and you're associating with those who are on a spiritual journey just like yours, life just becomes easier. Because they'll remind you, Prabhu, no need to worry. Krishna's got this. Thank you so much for that reminder. But if no one's there to tell you and to guide you every single day, it becomes hard. So my key point, and this is also for me, tomorrow morning when I go back into work and my manager says, right, how was last week's order take? What are we doing? Krishna's looking after it, But he's going to say, what have you done? What have you done? So just do that bit. And how much do we trust the process? And do we have full faith and Shraddha in Krishna? Or is it only on a Sunday? Any other questions? Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Yeah. It's a really good question. So the question was, in fact, how do you know that you've done your best? The example about the driving test and you pass first, or you fell first time and you pass second time. I think through reflection, we all know, isn't it? If you've got something like an exam coming up, then you have to make sure you get your hours in of driving lessons. Make sure you've got that. If it's a theory test, make sure you read the book properly. Make sure you do loads of tests. Make sure your preparation is there. Make sure you're concentrating. And when you're doing it, do it with full enthusiasm. Don't do it like, it's all right, if I fail, I fail. No. Do it with pure conviction that I want to do it to pass. But then just understand that you're not the only part of the equation in the result. That's all it is. So through reflection, we know. It's a couple of minutes now to 7 o'clock. We'll all be now doing the Gaura Arati. So we talk about, everything as an offering. So why don't we sing and dance for Krishna, for his enjoyment. And then we'll also become blissful. Thank you so much for your attentive listening. Best way to learn is to hear. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
की बजया जय गौरा चंदे आरती को शोभा जय जय गौरा चंदे आरती को शोभा आरती को शोभा जाना भी ताटा